What's up, CT? It's QB here for Culturalist Theory, and today we're going to be covering South Carolina native Angie Stone's solo catalog. Since 1999, Angie's hit us with a total of 9 studio albums, meaning the only one we're not including here is her Covered in Soul project from 2016. Of course, all of you Stone superfans out there can tell us what you thought about that one in the comments. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe if you're not already in the fold, and remember, we've got a super thanks button for you to tap into as well. Now that that's out of the way, let's get to it. Number 9, Unexpected. A very fitting album title for this collection because we absolutely didn't see this train wreck coming from Angie, considering the quality of her first 4 LPs. Unexpected is that album where you only remember the single, in this case, the quite catchy I Ain't Hearing You, and completely block out the rest from memory. Okay, save for Maybe and Kiss All Over Your Body, complete with a Ron Isley wannabe dropping in for a moment. Talking about Purdy Lady? Mostly everything else here is aged quite poorly. 2009 saw Sean Carter calling for the death of autotune, and tracks like Tell Me are stern reminders why. Even upon its initial release, it wasn't a good sound, so you can totally forget about it now. The Jazzy Faye produced Free lacks the usual pizzazz that makes his work stand out, and when you need a song that's named Hey Mr. DJ to get your party started, Stone's take on it doesn't quite hold a candle to Janae's original. Maybe an attempted cover would have worked better. At only 10 songs and 2 interludes long, the agony is short-lived, but do yourself one better and just bypass Unexpected. Number 8, Rich Girl. Angie Stone's 6th album arrived in the fall of 2012 and got off to a very uneven start. Right at the top, the pacing of Rich Girl is headache-inducing, literally going from a slow or mid-tempo groove, going right into a faster-paced track for most of the set. And while it's appreciated that Angie likes to keep us guessing, a song like Living It Up isn't one we necessarily want to hear from her. A classic case of stepping out of her lane, but not for the better. Stone's vocals rarely ever disappoint, yet they're completely wasted on the stale lead single, Do What You Gotta Do, right in front of me, and You Lit My Fire. And can someone tell us what the purpose of Malcolm Jamal Warner's 60-second spoken word was? It added absolutely nothing, and it's just a waste of space, to be quite honest. It's not all bad though, because First Time, I Can't Take It, and Backup Plan do warrant inclusion on your best of Angie compilations. And if you can make it that far down the track list, I Can't Take It has a nice melody you'll want to hum along to as well. Unfortunately, Angie's claim on the intro of giving us real music doesn't apply to the entirety of Rich Girl. Number 7, Full Circle. With musical roots dating back 40 years at this point in her career, it's easy to understand why she named her 2019 outing Full Circle. And being that Angie is indeed from the old school, she has a knack for keeping her songs on topic with the title. While Dinosaur is certainly not something any of us will be going around singing, it is interesting how she matter-of-factly warns you that you're gonna find exactly what you're looking for if you keep on digging up old shit. And post-filling all the roles in her man's life, except the most coveted one, Never Bride is her declaration of being ready for him to put a ring on it. Perfect falls short of its title, but it's a nice bop to run back here and there, as is Let Me Know. On Grits, Angie schools the young girls on what real good loving is, and until you're leaving that wet washcloth on the nightstand, apparently you ain't done a damn thing. Jaheim resurfaced as the only other voice on this album by way of Gonna Have to Be You, which unfortunately misses the mark and doesn't warrant any replays. Ain't Nobody Got Time for That was about 4 years too late, needing a better produced track and more energy from Stone to make it pop. After this Full Circle stops rolling, it sits firmly at the top of the bottom third of her catalog. Number 6, Dream. Coming in at a brief 10 tracks and less than 40 minutes, 2015's Dream was a rebound from her prior 2 efforts. The title track stands out for being far too cliche to be enjoyable, but fortunately, it's the only pure miss here. Too Bad Habits is easily the catchiest track overall, but didn't break me not too far behind. You can certainly appreciate Angie's self-awareness on Magnet of always attracting the wrong kind of guys, not unlike one of her peers who's been known to go 7 whole days without a word from her man. Dollar Bills is her upbeat club jam celebrating her single lady status, only to immediately turn around on the Dave Hollister duet Begin Again and have that come to Jesus moment. Neither one of them is over the other. They're too old to be in a club anyway, so why don't we just start things over one more again? Get it? Got it? Great. Dream was her highest charting set since 2007's Art of War, peaking at number 3 on the hip hop and R&B charts, and help assure fans that she hadn't completely fallen off. Number 5, Love Language. Angie had been hearing all that talk about how R&B music was dead. This, that, and the third, and she said enough already. Dusting off her mic from the past couple years, Angie hit the studio to give us her latest offering in the current decade, 2023's Love Language. And this seasoned vet is pretty good with hers, as witnessed on the masterful use of metaphors on the gym with Music Soul Child, or how she commands that boy to come and put his lips on her on Kiss You. There are 2 additional mixes of that track, but don't worry about the Jersey Club mix, cause that ain't it. Stone continues to shower her love on the opposite sex in the musically pleasing songs Love Is Real and Good Man without the assistance of any auto-tune. Just some good old-fashioned singing. On Old Thing Back, Angie got that H-Town in her, or whatever Biggie Smalls said, and the vibe there is good until her love child with D'Angelo, Suavo Twain, swoops in with his forgettable, garbled bars. Didn't your daddy teach you how to, you know what, never mind. However, her sultry vocals on All I Need and the upbeat title track more than make up for the few errors committed. R&B is dead? Shit. Number 4, Black Diamond. As an early purveyor of what's become known as neo-soul, Black Diamond was Angie Stone's debut contribution to the R&B subgenre that took off in the late 90s. No More Rain in This Cloud introduced her to a mainstream audience, and the smooth melodies paired with Angie's strong, polished vocals made for an instantly enjoyable song. Being that A Tribe Called Quest had recently disbanded at the time, Ali Shaheed Muhammad was free to craft Bone to Pick With You in fine fashion, and D'Angelo shares co-writing credit on the single Every Day, which is quite ironic because in retrospect, it sounds like she's describing what her time with him may have been like. You know, in those days when the Virginia native was just plain old Michael Eugene Archer trying to get on. But we're not gonna get too deep into that one. Angie wants us to catch a contact high on Love Junkie, whereas Life Story is satisfying musically, but none of the lyrics give you any real details on the subject at hand. As for her covers of Trouble Man and Heaven Help, let's just say that the latter has aged better than the former. While Black Diamond clearly reached the intended audience, moving over 800,000 units, there was also room for improvement, mainly on the production and songwriting fronts. And as her career progressed, those items would be less of an issue for at least the next 3 albums, starting with number 3, Stone Love. This is the one where Angie struck that perfect balance of traditional R&B soul combined with a contemporary sound, something that she's been chasing ever since. Easily her album with the most featured artists, where her offspring Diamond Stone made her debut on the summer 2004's Stone Love. The only track to get a video was lead single, the Jazzy Fizzle product Shizzle, I Wanna Thank You, featuring Snoop Dogg. Fortunately, it's one of the best here that begs to be replayed. J Records really dropped the ball by not greenlighting visuals for Stay a While featuring Anthony Hamilton, as their voices complement one another very nicely, and they haven't worked together again since. Same goes for the Grammy-nominated U-Haul, with Tweet and Missy Elliott supplying backup vocals. Hope you still got the original CD or are willing to listen to it right here on YouTube, or you're gonna get it, a beautiful duet with her daughter Diamond and My Man featuring Floetry, because these, plus a few others, are not available on most streaming platforms for whatever reason. Hell, the original pressing of Stone Love was even riddled with an early version of DRM that made it next to impossible to even rip the tracks to computers of the time, but shouldn't be an issue for modern day rigs. Getting back on track, Lover's Ghetto uses multiple cheat codes, as it runs off the same sample Camp Lo chose for their 97 bop Lucchini, aka This Is It, while interpolating Michael's Lady in My Life throughout, so you know this one was gonna slap. And you might think that a song with Cinderella in the name would unquestionably be corny, but you'd be wrong, because the production and melodies Angie sings on Cinderella Ballin' will take you captive before you even know it. Essentially, Stone Love is a sleeper with very few missteps that holds wonderfully all these years later. Listen to it in full however you can. Number 2, The Art of Love and War. Stone was relatively consistent with her output in the 2000s, and her 4th album, The Art of Love and War, stayed true to that sentiment. There are plenty of album cuts to keep you vibing, including the kickback track Sit Down, These Are the Reasons, and My People, which is a love letter to an extended list of movers and shakers of the melanated variety. Admissions to her conflicted feelings of loving you one minute and hating you the very next somehow don't sound too bad on sometimes. But ask us if we feel the same way tomorrow, and we may give you a completely different answer. Angie seems to have it more together on Here We Go Again, realizing it's time to let go and stop fronting like the situation is fresh, when in fact it's as stale as bread that you feed the birds. The single Baby featuring Betty Wright is one of the best she's put out, right with sexual innuendo that some 7-year-olds were probably singing with full confidence, having no idea what they were saying. Run that part back with choking at the end and you'll get the gist of it. We get more of this playfulness on the up-tempo jam Play With It, because according to her, if you do what the song title says, you just might get it. The Art of Love and War is Angie's best chart performer over her extensive career, taking the top spot on the hip hop and R&B charts, while falling just outside the top 10 on the Billboard 200 at number 11. Even 15 plus years after its release, you can put this one on and still get lots of enjoyment from it. Number 1, Mahogany Soul. 2001 was a year chock full of stellar R&B albums, which unequivocally includes Stone's magnum opus, Mahogany Soul. Angie took us back through the 70s by masterfully covering the late Curtis Mayfield's The Makings of You, hooking up with Music Soul Child for a wonderful duet on The Ingredients of Love that reworks an oft-used Jack Wilkins riff from the 73, while riding the beat of the OJ's classic Backstabbers with ease on I Wish I Didn't Miss You. Bridging the gap between classic soul and neo-soul alike, 2/3 of the Y2K supergroup Lucy Pearl helped cook up some original material. Ali Shaheed was behind What You Dying For, while Raphael Sadiq produced what is now considered her signature song that expresses her appreciation for black men worldwide, Brother.
'Cause you're my black brother, strong brother, and there is no one above you.
Preach, sister, preach. And to quote my man Justin Hunt,
if you haven't heard it, punch yourself in the face.
Angie's first Grammy nod was earned on More Than a Woman, a head-nodding smooth duet with Calvin Richardson, and then she hits us right in the belly with the blues on Bottles and Cans. Girl, what did he do to you to make you want to do 20 to life if you can't be his wife? Yeah, that's definitely some crazy love if we ever heard it. Stone has even injected some soul into a part of her life that almost every woman despises, and that's the aptly titled Time of the Month. If anyone was gonna make even a remotely decent song about it, it had to be Angie Stone. Even at 75 minutes long, there's very little within Mahogany Soul that doesn't touch you in some kind of way. It's not her highest selling effort nor her highest charting, but you feel it where it counts the most, and that's in your soul. And now that we've come full circle on Angie Stone's catalog, let us know down in the comments if you agree with our ranking or if you'd have ordered it slightly differently. Once again, this is QB for Culturalist Theory. Remember to hit those like, subscribe, and share buttons, and we'll catch you in the next one.